For this lesson, go to the work files and open the project 7E. Even though we've used different colors, we've really only been applying a single kind of marker to the sequence, a comment marker. But there are other types of markers used when exporting to QuickTime and other Final Cut Studio applications. Let's start with the most basic. Hit Function left arrow to go to the beginning of the sequence. Make sure nothing is selected, and hit Shift-Option-M to set a marker and open the Edit Marker dialog. Call it The Beginning, and hit the Add Chapter Marker button. The marker color changes to purple, and the word Chapter in brackets is code, which tags the marker to make it readable in QuickTime and in DVD Studio Pro. Delete the brackets, and the word Chapter is meaningless to other applications. Hit OK. Hit down arrow 3 times to go to the top of the fourth clip. Hit Shift-Option-M. Call it The Middle, and hit Add Chapter Marker. Hit OK. Hit the down arrow 3 more times to land at 719, and hit Shift-Option-M. Call it The End. Hit Add Chapter Marker, and hit OK. Now hit Command-E for the Export dialog. We'll talk much more about exporting your movies later in this tutorial, but right now we want to see how markers travel outside of Final Cut Pro. Call it Chapter Test. Make the desktop, or any easy-to-access folder, your save destination. Setting should read Current Settings, include audio and video, and by markers, make sure to select Chapter Markers, since we're only taking this to QuickTime. If you were going to DVD Studio Pro, you would either output through Compressor or select the DVD Studio Pro Markers option here. Make Movie Self-Contained should be checked, and hit Save. Go to the save location and open the file in the QuickTime Player. I use QuickTime 7 for default playback because it has QuickTime Pro features lacking in the latest version. So in QuickTime 7, we find a chapter navigation menu in the lower right. If we open it in QuickTime 10, you can click on this button for a snazzy DVD-style chapter menu. We only tested this in QuickTime, but the principle is the same for DVD authoring. But DVDs have a couple of rules for markers. You shouldn't place a chapter marker closer than 1 second to the beginning or end of your sequence, so my first marker would be a no-no in a DVD. It would be best to add a second or two of slug if I want a chapter to begin on the first frame of picture. Chapter markers have to be more than 1 second apart. You can have no more than 99 of them, and only sequence markers travel. Clip markers will be ignored. We'll talk more about prepping files for DVD Studio Pro in the lessons on output. Back in Final Cut, scrub to 110 in the sequence, and hit Shift-Option-M to add another marker. Besides chapter markers, there are 2 other types of marker available here. A scoring marker will be visible if you export your video to Soundtrack Pro, and a compression marker will be used by the Compressor application, if you choose to output that way, or by DVD Studio Pro. When a video is encoded or compressed, as it must be for delivery, only some of the frames are self-contained, that is, not dependent on other frames to be decoded. These are known as iframes, and you're on solid ground image-wise with iframes. It's the stuff in between the iframes where it gets complicated. Those frames are more compressed, which can be a problem when there's a drastic change in light, color, or action in the space of a very short number of frames. That's why Final Cut creates an iframe on every cut in your sequence. Every cut is an automatic compression marker, but sometimes changes within a shot are so quick and drastic that they can create problems for an encoder. And that's where manual compression markers come in. By hitting this button and creating a compression marker, you're inserting an iframe. Luckily, the Compressor application allows you to process as little or as much of a sequence as you like, so you can take a potential problem area of 4 or 5 seconds and do multiple test batches at different data rates and with different placement of compression markers, as these markers can be added, deleted, and moved inside Compressor. So let's go off topic as we close this chapter, to remind you that the edit you've been watching of this karate sequence is only half of what's in the raw footage. I encourage you to take a break from these lessons, open the Project 7C in the work files, and dig into the folder Fight Clips and see what you can do with the second half.